Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Secretary Zinke, welcome to our committee. I want to talk about your budget. I want to start talking about your budget with you. We've had hearing after hearing in this committee about the inequalities faced by Indian country, yet your budget, proposed budget, slashes key programs that aim to address the disparities. If this were to become overall funding provided for Indian affairs would be lower than any level in the last 15 years. 15 years. Nearly every line item in the budget has reductions. The almost $500 million in total cuts is the largest of any bureau at the Department of Interior. We have to do better, Secretary Zinke, and I hope that you will work with this committee to start over and fulfill the commitment that we have made to these communities. Mr. Chairman, Chairman Bishop, thank you for holding a hearing earlier this year on our Bipartisan Jobs for Tribes Act. As you know, the bill would be a major economic boost for Indian country and would support increased commerce between tribes and indigenous peoples across the Western Hemisphere. Mr. Secretary, during our hearing on the bill, the Director of Bureau of Indian Affairs told us that in general, Interior supports the legislation, but that we need to make some technical tweaks. We're open to that. The director gave me his word that the Interior would provide technical feedback on the bill as soon as possible, but that was 2 months ago, sir. Secretary Zinke, do you have a timeline for when you can get comments back to this committee?
I don't have a timeline, but I'll make it a priority, and when I get back, I'll have a meeting today about it.
Well, I appreciate you making a commitment to that. Offshore drilling in California, I want to go back to that. Mr. Secretary, you know the strong opposition that Californians have toward more offshore drilling. I like to emphasize that it's not just theoretical for us, that we have seen firsthand the Santa Barbara blowout and the Refugio oil spill. Our goal is to get these platforms removed, not give them a new lease on life. Now, Florida, who also opposed the administration's plan, got an exemption. So why can't California get an exemption other than being a blue state and Florida being a red state? Why are we so different?
Couple things. Florida did not get an exemption. In the case of Florida, 3 things. One is every member, both sides of the aisle, wrote me a letter. Second is the governor asked for an immediate meeting. And third, there's a little thing called a federal moratorium that expires in 2022, but that federal moratorium extends well past 100 miles off the coast.
When you say both sides of the aisle wrote you a letter, are you saying that the GOP California representatives did not send you a letter?
Both sides of the aisle, that every member of the Florida delegation, both Republican and Democrat, either wrote me a letter or wrote me a statement in strong opposition to drilling off the coast of Florida.
So are you saying that California Republicans failed to send you a letter talking about the importance of shutting off oil drilling off of California coast?
No, what I'm saying is that Florida, the reason why, and I could have put Florida off the list in the beginning because the executive order from the president didn't specifically look at Florida, but had I left Florida off, it would have been arbitrary and capricious.
Thank you. I want to make sure.
My commitment to California, and I'll say the same thing I said to your Governor Brown, is that at the end of the day, this president wants to take in consideration of local communities, of the state, and as we go through, and this happens every 5 years.
Just for the record, in the last 30 seconds, I want to make sure that we understand that if the president wants to preserve Mar-a-Lago's ocean view, that he should also be looking to preserve his Los Angeles club. Regarding the water needs in California, we have a vast underground aquifers, specifically in Southern California, the area that I represent, but we are in great need of of funding because that water is severely polluted by federal contractors that came in, polluted, and then left. My time's up, and I yield back.